One of my favorite quotes that I've heard, and this was actually told to me by my dad, right? It goes like this: You permit what you promote. Now, what does that mean? I looked up a quick summary of this quote. The phrase you permit what you promote suggests that by actively supporting, highlighting, or endorsing certain behaviors, ideas, or actions, you are effectively giving tacit permission for those things to continue or expand. Throughout my life, I've been a passive person. I haven't been a person that really set strict rules or boundaries within my life. And it has hurt me in the long run. I developed friendships that were harmful to me because I never took the time out of my day to actually address or confront what was being done to me and really just nip it in the bud right then and there. Right. So, how does this apply to forgiveness? And how does this apply to how we can really just promote forgiveness? Here's how. When we choose to forgive somebody, right, we choose to acknowledge what has been done to us. We choose to confront what has been done to us. But at the same exact time, we simultaneously choose to accept it and to forgive it and move on from it. We decide that in that moment, we are going to break ourselves free from what has been done to us, the mental anguish, the mental pain, the mental trauma, the mental torture. But we also do it for that person as well, the person who hurt us. That's where the forgiveness comes in. Now, let's also tie in the quote, you permit what you promote. Now, if that person comes back into our lives, what do we do? Do we take that person back by running the risk of possibly getting hurt again? Or do we forgive that person, but also set these boundaries where this person cannot get that close to us again and get into that personal space of ours where they are able and where they are opportunistic in hurting us again? And for today's episode, I want to explore 3 chapters that I've made up about forgiveness. Number 1 being the true action of forgiveness. Number 2 being why forgiveness hurts so much, but why it's so worth it in the end. And number 3, why forgiveness is not just for ourselves. For episode 5 of what's Bryce talking about now, we have to really just get into a deep dive of forgiveness. I feel like in society, we misconstrue forgiveness so much that we think that it's just, oh yeah, saying, hey, I forgive you, it's whatever. But we treat that person as if we never did forgive them. We treat that person as if we're still holding on to that bitterness and that resentment. And that's not okay, right? In order to actually forgive, you have to, how do I say this? You have to let that person know, you know what? What you did was not okay. I don't think what you did was okay. But I am going to free myself from what you have done. But that doesn't always mean that you're going to be able to have the same conversations with me as we've had before. That doesn't mean that you're going to have the same access to me as we've had in the past. That doesn't mean that we are always going to be able to exclusively be around each other. That could go for friendships, that could go for relationships, that could go for whatever the case may be. Because the true action of forgiveness, starting for chapter 1, the true action of forgiveness is really just doing it to heal yourself. A quick example: somebody can hurt you, right? That may be physically, verbally, whatever the case may be. And 10 to 15 years down the line, when you guys are probably adults, this may happen at a young age, this may happen at an old age, 10 to 15 years down the line. And that person is living their life knowing that what they did to you was wrong, but not facing any repercussions, not facing any consequences. They're living free of guilt. And you're still holding on to that bitterness and resentment. You're still holding on to that anger that you have towards that person. And now you're in a stage where you don't know how to figure it out. You're in a stage where it has hurt you so much that you can't even manage it. And that's where we go wrong. In order to actually forgive, we have to accept what this person has done because it cannot be undone. It cannot be reversed. It's permanent. It has happened. It has transpired. It is done. We have to choose within ourselves to verbalize that we forgive this person. But we have to also subconsciously, and we have to also show within our actions that we forgive this person. So what does that look like? So the subconscious, how do I say this? The subconscious meaning of forgiving somebody is when you look at them, right? Or when you think about them, you don't always think about what they have done. You begin to see them in a new light, right? You begin to see them in a new form. Now, what does that look like when we show that we forgive this person? We treat that person like anybody else. We, dap that person up. We shake hands with that person. We become cordial with that person. Benign talk. You know what I mean? But at the same time, we don't hold that same access to that person as we've done in the past, because that same access that we have enabled for that person, they took advantage of and they broke it. And what we decide to do is we decide to ignore some of the patterns that some of these people have made, right? So if somebody is constantly lying to you about something that's very important, whether it may be about how they feel about you, or maybe a situation where you guys are dealing with somebody or something, and they are constantly betraying your trust, and they're constantly betraying you. Forgiveness doesn't look like just allowing it to happen, allowing it to slide. Forgiveness looks like disassociating yourself from that person, but not holding it against them. Don't hold that, whatever mistake they have made against them, because you're not giving that person grace. You're not giving that person any type of remorse. And that's how it comes back on you. That's a reflection of who we are as people. When we choose to continuously slander somebody's name because of what they have done to us, we have actually forgiven them. Look at me. I have done things to people in the past. I've said so many, I can't even count on my fingers how many times I've said something bad about somebody. But does that mean that I deserve a pass for what I've done? No, I don't deserve a pass. Just because somebody doesn't want to be my friend for something I've said to them doesn't mean that they're in the wrong. I've betrayed somebody's trust. I've slandered somebody's name. Forgiveness is a gift. Forgiveness, we can choose to forgive. That's what a lot of people forget. We can choose to forgive. It's not an obligation. Oh, yeah, you punched me in my face. Now I have to forgive you. No. Somebody could punch you back, bro. Somebody could punch you back, but we choose to forgive because guess what? We don't want to hold that against us. We don't want that to be a burdening part of our life. I wouldn't want my friend or somebody that I love to constantly think about somebody that hurt them. Yes, remembering it is going to hurt, but not holding it, but holding it against that person is going to hurt even more because you lack remorse. You lack grace. You lack the ability to forgive. And that's chapter 1. Moving on to chapter 2, why forgiveness hurts so much, but why it's so worth it. Now, here's why forgiveness hurts so much. Because sometimes it makes you look soft. Sometimes it makes you look soft. I've grown up in a generation where the term get back is very normalized. Whenever something is done to somebody or whenever something is done to us, we always talk about the get back. How am I going to get my revenge? Man, she cheated on me. Let me see if I can go find somebody else to cheat on her with so I can get my get back. Oh yeah, he stole from me. Let me steal from him. He punched my brother. Let me go blow up his house. You know what I mean? Like, We always look for revenge. We always look for a certain type of repercussion. We always look for some type of get back. That's not how we should roll. That's not how we should live life. Because stooping down to that level makes us no better than that person. Really think about it. If I steal from you, or actually, let me give a different situation. If you steal from me, right, and I decide that I want to steal from you, I'm reciprocating the same energy that you just gave to me. I'm throwing it right back in your face. But instead, I could take a different route and become a bigger person in the situation by being more mature and by saying, you know what? It's okay. I forgive you, but I'm not going to let you do that again because I'm going to put myself in a situation where you're not around me that much. You don't have that access to me. You don't have the ability to be around me. I'm going to prevent you from doing it again because I know that I have to protect my peace. I know that I have to protect my self-worth. I know that I have to protect my value as a human being. That doesn't mean that I'm going to treat you like garbage. That doesn't mean that I'm going to slander your name. That doesn't mean that I'm going to get back. That doesn't mean that I'm going to harm you. What that means is I've put up a barrier, right? I put up an emotional barrier to where you can't hurt me anymore. You can't do what you have done anymore. And if it does get to a situation where that does happen, well, guess what? I'm going to forgive you again, but I'm going to take even more precautions to make sure that that doesn't happen. Because when we choose to forgive and when we choose to finally make that choice to let that person go, to let that action go, it hurts for a while because we always want to mirror that person's actions to make them know how it feels. We always want to do that. We always want to get back. We always want to say, you know what? Let me throw it right back in your face to let you know how it feels. Because I don't feel good. I don't I don't feel good. What you have done to me, it hurts, man. It doesn't feel good. It's not okay. I need to teach you a lesson. You need to be taught a lesson. You need to know what it feels like to feel like this. You need to know how badly this hurts. But when we choose, key word, choose to forgive, it hurts so bad, but in the long run, we feel so much better about ourselves. And here's what I love most about forgiveness. It's just the complete ascension of our character, right? We are basically entering a different stage of our lives when we choose to forgive. Every single time we choose to ascend above negativity. There's nothing negative about forgiving. It's so peaceful in a sense. It's so peaceful. It's just like, I'm not going to let that bother me. I'm not going to let that bother me. I'm not going to let you bother me. I'm not going to let I'm not going to let your actions bother me at all. I'm going to move past it. I'm going to continue to live my life because I know that I love myself. I know that I'm not going to blame myself for what had happened. I'm not going to blame anybody. I'm going to just move on. But at the same time, I'm going to prevent from that happening again. And that brings me to my last chapter. Forgiveness is actually not just for ourselves, it's for the other person as well. When kind of going back to the second chapter, when I chose to hurt these people, or when I chose to really say bad things about these people, it was a reflection of who I was and the insecurities that I had, right? Growing up, I did have a lot of insecurities. I'm not gonna get too, deep into that. I feel like that's a story for another time, right? But I projected that onto other people. Like, oh yeah, you're this, you're that. I don't like the way this looks on you. I don't like the way that looks on you. Or, you're dumb, you're stupid, ugly, whatever the case may be, etc., etc. It was a reflection of what I hated about myself, right? So when somebody does something to you, you don't always have to take it personally. And that's actually from a great book that I've been reading called The Four Agreements. Shout out to my dad for giving that to me. We're actually going to, well, later on in the podcast, I'm going to have like a book review. I'm going to start like a book review series. And that's probably going to be like the first book that I review, The Four Agreements. So coming back to that, not taking everything personally, learning that what a lot of people do to you isn't really because of you. It's because of what they're dealing with. I've had people admit to me that they have said certain things about me because they were jealous, or they've said certain things about other people because they were jealous or they were envious. And you begin to grow more sympathetic for these people because at that moment, all you want to do is help them. Like, I'm so sorry you feel like this. I'm so sorry that you didn't have anybody to talk this out with. So you just decided to, use this person as a punching bag or to use this person as a relief system. Like, you know what? I'm going to just talk about this person to make myself feel better. And when we choose to forgive for that person as well, to at least let them know, you know what you did was not okay, but I hold some sympathy for you. And I hope that you get help. I hope that what you do in the rest of your life benefits you to the fullest. And in a sense that encourages other people to find help, that encourages people to really just confront their actions head on. And I love that about forgiving for both sides because some people say, yeah, you should forgive only for yourself, to heal for yourself, to improve for yourself, to find love within yourself. But what about the other person? Yeah, what they did was messed up. It was jacked up. Little, small, big, tall. It was messed up. But let's at least run the risk of probably knowing that this person is probably going through something. So that's why they chose to take their anger out on us. Because when we think like, oh, they're just talking about me just to talk about me. No. Mm-mm. A lot of times, more often than not, what they say towards you is a reflection of how they feel about themselves. And they can't handle that. They cannot handle that. So they use you and they think it's going to make them feel better. They think it's going to make it okay. But in reality, they are going to war with themselves. They are battling with themselves. But we have to find it in our hearts to forgive. We have to find it in our hearts to at least sympathize with these people in the hopes of knowing that what they have done is not because of us. It's because of what they're dealing with. And at the same time, forgiveness is so beautiful because we are just it's a simultaneous cycle. We are forgiving ourselves. We're freeing ourselves. We're freeing that person. We're forgiving that person. We're accepting that person. But at the same time, we are making these logical and smart decisions to surround ourselves with people who actually value us and won't treat us like that last person did. So today, I ask anybody who's listening, forgive. Forgive. Please forgive. And please know that whatever somebody has done to you, whatever somebody has said about you, whatever somebody has put or projected upon you is not because of you. It's not because of how you look. It's not because of how you dress. It's not because of how you talk, what you do, how you carry yourself. It's a reflection of who they are. So find it in your hearts to forgive today. And thank you for listening. This is What's Bryce Talking About Now, episode 5.